Hey guys, Road Warrior back here again. I wanted to go over something on Fishing Planet that a lot of people might be confused on. I've been asked questions before on percentages and that sort of thing. I wanted to explain something to you that me and a friend had figured out as far as finding a formula that will help you guys optimize all of your mixes here on Fishing Planet whenever you are playing this game. This should help you quite a bit, future players as well. As you noticed here, we're just going to start with something very basic. As you can see here, obviously, the way this is broke down, and you'll look at this closely, you'll see it's up to 10% on aromas, 15% on particles, and then obviously if you've only put in the feeder mix here itself, it's obviously 100%. But to maximize this, as you can see there, it says up to 10%, up to 15%. I think this will help you guys maximize your fishing for sure in regards to these ground baits. So moving on, we're going to show you one simple thing here I would suggest that you do when you go to experiment with this and you're putting and refining your mixes, so to speak. Go ahead and max that out. So our first number is going to be 1500. Now here's where the formula comes in. So your total weight, let's say in this particular instance, we want 1500 grams of carp rival. I threw in the extra riverine so you can mix it. So the formula is as follows. The total weight of your feeder mix, simply divide that number by 5 to get the particles that you need. To get the aromas, the percentage that you need, you're going to divide that by 7.5. So following along, and then you'll obviously take that number, distribute it evenly through these because you have 3. So you're dividing that first number by 3 because I have 3 aromas. Now particles, just the simple math on this one, as you can see there, 1500 divided by 5 is 300. So watch closely. So that would be 150 grams each of the particles, and you can see how this is playing out. Now watch, I added that extra just to start, and then we're going to cancel that out. Now watch how these percentages will go up here shortly. That's that 5%. Now watch when we take this down. If you watch really closely here, you can see the percentages are going up to about to optimize them. Now sometimes if you cancel that out completely, again, this is just a basic mix. See how that grayed out? Just put 1 back in there, but you can see 75% on the feeder. Now, if you could go down there, you'll see that the perfect 3.3% on each aroma and 7.5 on particles, totaling 15%. So that's a 100% mix. In other words, that's optimize that. And then from there, if any of you guys in Imperial, obviously go back to Imperial, but you will need to do this in metric. All my metric friends, you kind of already know where you're at there, so that's great. Now we're going to go on to another mix itself. Let's say we're wanting to do a 2000 mix. So we're going to do 1500. But again, the reason I'm doing this and taking this all the way up, I will just say, for test purposes, I'm wanting to do another additional 500, which is pretty common. Let's say you wanted to do 1500, 500, 500, same kind of a principle, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the same mix, same strategy, and how the math plays out. This will actually help you out here, but you can kind of watch and see what I'm doing here. Okay guys, as you can see there, I'm just taking those numbers up from that same kind of a template, but we're just adding basically 500. So to get that math again, just divide by, now I'm dividing 2000 by 7.5 for the aromas, and then dividing that number again by 3 because we have 3 aromas. And as you can see, when I back that back down and divide by 5 to get your particles. Now I've got that at 500, but it won't mix, so I put in 1 extra one. As you can see there, now that's ready to mix. 7.5, 3.3, 3.3. Very cool, right? Okay. Now let's move on here to something else I was going to show you. Let's just say you're trying to work on a catfish mix. Same kind of a process here, but we're going to show you something. I'm going to show you something a little different here that will be really cool that you can see. Let's say the sky is kind of the limit, in my opinion, on what you guys want to test out here. But you can see, let's say we're wanting to do a lopsided mix. Okay, so we took that number. As you can see, we're going to do Catfish Destroyer. And now what I'm going to do, instead of using just 3 aromas, I'm going to use 2 aromas. So with that being said, I know that's, I've already did the math on them, but that's going to be 88. So what I'm going to want to do here in a second, As you can see, we got that 88, and now let's say you wanted to overload something, or you wanted to do like a 2-to-1 ratio and still get your percentages. I already know that the 88 would space out for 3 different aromas if I want to use 3, but let's say I just want to use 2. In that event, then you just double it, so it's 176. As you can see how I did this. So let's say you're wanting to go heavy on CSL to draw on catfish or that sort of thing, or whatever aroma that you wanted to try, and just wanted to show you how to blend all this together. Same thing if you wanted to use 3 particles. Let's say you're wanting to use, the bloodworms. Same kind of a thing. Since it's 2,000, that's what I'm making the mix for, is 2,000. I just put the extra in to start, as I previously mentioned. Then from there, I know it's going to be 400 grams total. So let's say I wanted to go heavy on the pistachio here. You'll notice that this is actually cool, 200 there. And then if you wanted to blend in a lesser amount of particles on the others, then you could go 200, 100, 100, following along. And a simple math on this, and I'll show you how this plays out. This is definitely beneficial to all you guys. Okay, now carrying on, see how that breaks out. Now watch again how the percentages will change for you as soon as you back off. Remember, I added that extra just so I had room to mix, basically. But that's the best way I think I can explain it to you guys, is you're going to want to add the extra to start. That way it gives you, number one, it's going to save you a lot of time from having to tinker with it. Just remember to put in extra. Already determine what number you're going to want to try, whether it's 1,500 grams, 3,000 grams, 2,500 grams. Start with your feeder first if you're following along. And I'm going to this detail just to kind of illustrate this several times so you can kind of see how this plays out for you. And again, from there, do a lot of testing on your own. You can refine your older mixes and that sort of thing. I'll show you something here on barbel mix, even particularly if you're trying to play in barbel Gint Hunt or one of those competitions where you're putting a mix together. This will help you, and as well as you want to experiment. Maybe you want to go heavier with an aroma, one or the other, instead of doing an even amount. If you wanted to play around with that yourself, feel free to do so. I didn't actually go test this mix up, so this was just a generic template as I was wanting to illustrate what to do here. Now moving on to something really simple here. Let's say you're going to refine a barbel mix. Same kind of a thing. I just added the carp rival in momentarily so I could figure out my percentages. Obviously, I'm dividing 1,000 because I'm basically just wanting the big river breamer in there. I'm not really wanting the carp rival, but just kind of showing you here as I take time real quick. You can do the calculating on your phone if you want, but you probably will need a calculator. Some of the math's very simple, but some is not as simple. But again, with that being said, I've already determined what the number is that I need. So it's 100 grams of each particle to balance this mix out. So I'm going to back this off. And I think I actually did 900 grams. So yeah, I was factoring in 900 grams on this one. But as you can see here, I already know what the number is going to be. It's 44 for each particle. And again, as you can see here, this is going to play out perfectly. And I'll get the exact percentages I want for a nice small barbel Gint Hunt mix. Again, just back this off and make sure that you don't go test it first. Make sure you get all the way down here. I'll just kind of see how this plays out. A little more fine tuning on this right here. Now you will be careful because sometimes it will erase if you're not careful. But I'll take it down to 1 there. We know 1's going to work. With that being said, you can check that out again, 3.3% as you can see. So this is a very cool thing to know because you can maximize it or optimize all of your mixes in the event that you have not thought of doing so. But that's what those numbers represent there, up to 15%, up to 10%, and then obviously 75% will be at the top. So you might even look at some of your mixes, test these things out for yourself and see what you guys think. I think this will help you. And this is just an example of my Lake Placid mix in metric. Just throwing this out here out of peak, just again optimizing the entire mix itself. I think we'll find that it's very, very beneficial. It's kind of a shame that we can't catch the big carp anymore, guys, but with that being said, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and revisit some of your mixes and that sort of thing. So, and this will, I think, help out tremendously for anybody that's trying to learn how to mix there. But again, you're going to have to do this in metric. You can't do it in imperial. It won't balance out to the exact. It's just a lot more accurate in metric. I've figured that out myself as I went through a lot of my mixes and done this very thing. But it does seem to help quite a bit. But as you can see, they're out of peak, just in the rain even. Hope this helps you guys out.